Here's the hard truth. Some people only loved you when you were struggling. The second you get your standards, your confidence, or a boundary that you place, suddenly you're too much. And let me say this loud for the ones in the back. You do not have to justify your healing to the people who benefited from your silence. We are going to talk about 4 different types of people that you need to stop explaining yourself to now. And when you do, peace, power, and clarity will flow to you. Let's get into it on today's episode of Dichotomy with Shannon. So here's what we're not doing anymore. We're not going to explain our worth. We're not going to defend the choices that we make. We are not going to make ourselves really tiny so we can share our truth and make it easily digestible for the other person, especially the people who were never planned to see us clearly. If you've been burning energy, if you've been justifying your desires or afraid to say your boundaries, then this is your permission slip right now to stop. Let's break down the 4 types of people that you don't owe 1 ounce of justification to, and why walking away from their misunderstanding is actually walking you towards your own peace. Number 1, the unwilling witness. They're the people that saw you bleeding, broken, and now that you're healing, glowing, and choosing yourself, they don't recognize you. And that scares them, that intimidates them because it shows them they still are stagnant. Misery loves company. If you're growing, that makes other people that are not growing uncomfortable because they don't want to see you win. They want the version of you that's easy to manage, that doesn't make waves, that played so tiny, it made them feel safe and big, especially bigger than you. So there was comfort in that for them, not for you. You're dying inside. You got to stop doing that right now. Those people, you don't know an explanation to for why you're rising, how you're rising. If someone can only love you in your struggle and not in your strength, then they were never truly witnessing you. They were witnessing their own control over you. I have had women, sometimes older women, maybe Bible study leaders, whatever. They were very comfortable with me when I was struggling and barely keeping my head above water. There's something in the church that wants to control other people and hold you accountable. Okay, thanks. Your ego is not bigger than who God is for me. So don't waste your breath. But people would do this over me. It was almost like they liked the frailness of me. It's subconscious. I don't blame them. I'm not mad at them. They just don't know any better. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. The second type of person that you don't need to explain yourself to is the conditional supporter. You know these people, the ones that are only happy when it doesn't threaten them. And that's because they start to get uncomfortable when you're taking up space. Go take up that damn space. Take up that energy. That is who you are. That's who you're created to be. Let that light shine. These people only support you when your success doesn't remind them of them being stagnant. Let that really sink in. When you remind them of what they're not doing, and you don't even mean to, you're just out there doing all the things that you can get your hands on because you're motivated, it makes them uncomfortable because it's showing them what they're not doing in their own lives, what they want to be doing, but they don't have the courage like you have. They don't have that mindset. They don't have that ambition. Stop justifying your ambition to people who haven't even met their own. You don't need to shrink your light to make other people feel less insecure. That is not your job. That's not even freaking humility, okay? That's self-destruction. That's self-betrayal. That's you burning out your own freaking candle. The third person is the legacy keeper. This one's a little trickier because there's a lot of trauma bonds, right? It's the family member. It's the childhood best friend. It's the person who says, you've changed. And they say it with a tone that feels like betrayal. I had a friend, a best friend who I have loved for a really long time, say that to me after I had given birth to my last baby, who's now 3. Oh, you've changed so much. You're not fun anymore. Well, I'm sorry. I'm not going to go out and drink the night away and party like I used to because I have a freaking newborn. Yes, I've changed. Why is that a bad thing? Change is not a bad thing. Change is a beautiful thing. If you're staying stagnant in life, you're not going to change. I would like to challenge that. Go out and see where you're staying stagnant, what's not changing, and sit with that. Find out because your evolution depends on that. These people could have been very loyal to you. You were probably very loyal to them, but that is an old version of you. That version is no more. And if they take it personally when you evolve beyond the blueprint that they needed you to be, then that's time to take a step back and create a boundary. Growth can sometimes look like you're being disloyal. And that's to the people that knew your survival self and to the unhealthy people that aren't doing any kind of personal growth. Because if they were, they would see that and they would be cheering you on, like, hell yes, I see you. These changes are so good for you. They're so healthy. You are glowing differently. You are showing up differently. And that's a beautiful thing. You are not required to stay small to keep someone else's comfort intact. Love doesn't mean being compliant. Having boundaries with somebody doesn't mean that you're disrespecting them. You can still honor your roots without staying buried in them. And honestly, I think that you're going to honor your roots a lot more by being the person that says, no, this stops now with me. The fourth one is the passive aggressive mirror. This is the person that says they're neutral. They say that they're happy for you, but every comment is laced with judgment and they can't even help themselves. But you'll feel that side eye. They will minimize your work. They'll say backhanded compliments. They probably don't like certain parts of themselves. So they will judge you for how you show up. It could be what you're wearing, it could be what you're saying, what you're doing. Like confidence is some sort of a fucking crime. It's not a crime. These are the people that don't actually want clarity, they want to control you. They use these passive comments to pull you back in so you start questioning yourself, so you dim your light even more and that you're more on their level. Because the more confident you are in authentically living who you are created to be, the higher of the frequency you are. And that can be really threatening for the people that aren't the right people in your circle. Stop explaining yourself to them. People are so funny with the whole "Let Them" by Mel Robbins. Some people think great, some people think, but honestly, I challenge you to go out today and be misunderstood by those people. Let yourself. Let them misunderstand you. Just do it. See what happens. I promise you, it'll gain confidence and you'll realize, oh, it's not that bad. I can do this. And then you're setting yourself free from the bondage, from the control. I want to land this with some hard truth. You don't need to explain your boundaries and why you have them. You don't need to explain your joy or your healing and all the work that you're doing to get there. You don't need to explain your calling to other people. That is your God-given assignment. You do not need a permission slip for who you are becoming, especially from people who are only comfortable with your silence. So stop handing your energy to people who refuse to meet you at your current frequency and where you're going. They do not need to get it. They do not need to agree with it. And they definitely do not need to approve it. It's not a trial. You're living life now on purpose, intentional. That's beautiful. That's not going to be living from a place of needing approval, but you are walking in your own authority. Please let me know, share with me. Thank you guys for listening to this episode of Dichotomy with Shannon. You got this. Keep going.